why would a person want to choose a startup, or what kind of persons would best suit for a startup in terms of their financial standing or in terms of their skill set? And how do you think we can identify those kind of people, especially in the startup arena?
Like there are different types of fishes in the ocean. Like each of us come with different skill sets. We have different approaches to our life. So I when I look at people, when I interview people, when I meet people, I see a stark difference between what a person who is fitting into a corporate and who would love to get into startup. Their mindsets are different. So people who are risk taking, who want to do something different, would try to experiment with working with startups. And people who want to have a stable career, they or stable income, these people usually try to choose a corporate job. But then I would say, like, as I see the industry maturing, like how the current job market is, people should be ready to have multiple options. Like you should not really going forward, I see it would be a gig economy. Like if you look at Fiverr or Upwork, you see a lot of people who are coming into those. Like they don't work for a company, but still they do a lot of projects. So I see the industry going into that way. Maybe in another 10-15 years, I would see less of corporate jobs being a attractive proposition than people wanting to get into gig work. So where you work for a project and you move on to next projects. That is something that I foresee.
So, as in, a follow up question to that, thing is that, I see this fractional leadership very, very emerging trend, and gig economy as well. Because as startups, let's say you want a full stack developer who's working at Uber, you're not going to shell out 50 lakhs to hire that person. But then, what happens is you want that kind of an expert. But then, he's contracted for 40 hours, he is doing a project on the side or something like that. Is that a way forward? Or let's say you are a company with say 50 people, you cannot afford a chro, you need somebody with that kind of long term mindset, but you cannot afford him. So just because you cannot afford him, you cannot hire a joker and then place him at a chro role. So in those cases, do you see, should we go into more fractional thing, or should we go into more gig economy for us to kind of go through that phase? Because I've had founders in the past who've told me offline that they've had people moonlight for them to build certain parts of the product, so that they can. And moonlighting, I don't moonlighting is a bad word introduced to make people feel bad, because they're paid for 40 hours. What they do outside of it is their whims and fancy, right? A company cannot call it moonlighting or something like that, is what I believe. What is your thought on, say, gig or fractional leadership?
Right. So it's a very novel concept. It's not yet picked up to the extent. But when you think from a founder's point of view, from if you're starting something, the first and foremost agenda for you should be how soon I can make money, because everything trickles down to that. Because unless you have a huge fund to start up, which everyone doesn't have, most of the startups founders put their hard-earned money into it, which gets burned out in 6 months, not more than not earlier than that. And they come to a point where all sorts of different ways of getting jobs done is there in the market, but they can't touch it because they are running on a bootstrap mode. So the first and foremost thing is, how can you as an individual function as a system, get the money which is required in, whether it is through the basic services that you want to give, basic product that you want to roll out in the market. Problem with the founders is they wait for the best product to come out, and they invest so much in getting the perfect product out. They would have burned out so much, and after that it's all about getting the money back to give it back to the investors and lenders and other people, right? So that's the first step. So if you're not correct in that, the financial aspect, I think the rest everything will get dismantled.